in favor of giving law enforcement that power and respecting constitutional limits.
I don't believe you, Professor. Okay? You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here. Okay? I've read some of your stuff. I think you'd be more intellectually honest if you just come out and say, I'm on the side of the bad guys here. I think we shouldn't give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back. You're trying to make it as hard as possible, aren't you?
We'll have to disagree on that point, Senator.
Nah. You know, you ever heard the expression, watch what they do, not what they say?
You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here. Yeah, that's what Senator John Kennedy threw down, a verbal gauntlet, if you will. In a Senate hearing that went from calm to combustible in a matter of seconds. It was a hearing like any other, until it wasn't. The air in the room, thick with procedure and policy, suddenly crackled with tension. Here's the scene. Kennedy, never one to tiptoe, leans in, his eyes locked on the witness, and fires off a question to a constitutional law professor.
Tell me what your constitutional concerns are, Professor.
So I have three primary concerns. The first has to do with the Fourth Amendment and the conditions under which a warrant is required and a general warrant is forbidden by the Fourth Amendment. So in this particular case, it's important.
Professor, before you give me one of your lectures, are you saying that we should require state and local law enforcement to get a warrant before they fight back?
It depends on the condition. So in an exigent circumstance or something along the border.
I'm aware of the exceptions to the warrant requirement. But you, generally speaking, you want to require them to get a warrant.
Only for the search of a device or the seizure of property. There are also due process implications of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You started to mention another one of your objections.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I also have a state rights, a 10th Amendment concern here, which is that states own the airspace adjacent to the land within their state that's not federally owned, and the current federal provisions don't recognize state sovereignty in that way.
So you want to give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back, but you want to list a whole lot of conditions. Is that a fair assessment?
Not a whole lot, but some. There needs to be a nexus to the facility. It can't be any drone anywhere in America if you're concerned about a particular facility, but right now it's too broad. There have to be acknowledgments of First Amendment concerns. So for instance, limiting the covered facilities to the experience and logic test with which the courts use for right of public access, or prohibiting media bans across the board, or setting a time limit before and after special events so they don't extend extensively. This is what a number of state measures already do, and I'd like to see that at a federal level and apply to bring this within the constitutional limits.
Sounds like a lot of conditions to me.
No, not very many. As long as there's probable cause and the conditions are met, then absolutely you can.
Have you ever heard of a legislative practice called loving a bill to death?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when you take a bill and somebody says, I'm really for this bill. But then they add so many amendments and they screw it up so badly that the bill either becomes ineffective or doesn't pass. Is that a pretty accurate description?
Of the term?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to love this to death, aren't you?
I disagree.
You're not really for giving law enforcement the power to fight back, are you?
I am in favor of giving law enforcement that power and respecting constitutional limits.
I don't believe you, Professor. Okay? You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here. Okay, I've read some of your stuff. I think you'd be more intellectually honest if you just come out and say, I'm on the side of the bad guys here. I think we shouldn't give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back. You're trying to make it as hard as possible, aren't you?
We'll have to disagree on that point, Senator.
Nah. You ever heard the expression, watch what they do, not what they say? I've watched what you've done. I know what you believe. Were you there when You guys issued all those bad warrants against Trump's people?
I can't discuss my work on the court,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it's top secret, right? I'd be on, you'd have to put me on the American people on double secret probation if you told them the truth, wouldn't you?
No. I can't discuss my matters that I've handled before the court.
Kennedy, he keeps swinging. He presses on, undeterred by the professor's refusal to answer. This isn't just a debate about drones, it's about something much bigger than just unmanned aerial vehicles. This is a clash of worldviews, a fundamental disagreement about the role of government and the balance between security and liberty. On one side, law enforcement, public safety, the need to act fast, the argument for decisive action to protect citizens from harm. On the other, civil liberties, constitutional caution, the importance of safeguarding individual freedoms, and a warning against overreach. The potential for government power to be abused and individual rights to be trampled. So, what do you think? Where do you stand on this critical issue? Did Kennedy expose some real problems, highlighting legitimate concerns about public safety and security? Or did the professor hold the line for our basic rights? Did he stand as a bulwark against potential government overreach? Drop your take in the comments. We want to hear your perspective on this important debate, and if you want more fiery moments like this, more raw, unfiltered political clashes, raw, unfiltered, straight from the heart of Capitol Hill, the real debates that shape our nation, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stay informed, stay engaged, and be part of the conversation. This is Capitol Insights, your window into the inner workings of American government. I'll catch you next time. Until then, keep questioning, keep thinking, and keep engaging.